Okay, so if you remember, we went over this video on my channel, okay? The CNN video about Joe Rogan's ivermectin stuff was at the most charitable. It was the closest you can get to being just completely flat out wrong as you can be.
Podcast host Joe Rogan, he came down with COVID. He says he's been taking the livestock dewormer ivermectin as well as other.
Okay, so he says it. So it's dumb. I've said this a million times. Just stop calling it a horse dewormer. It's stupid. It makes you look dumb. Don't say it. It's just dumb to say that. Describing it as like an anti-parasitic is more accurate. Fauci should call out that horse dewormer talking about because conservatives are using it to their benefit. Yeah, maybe, but somebody already said like that train's kind of left the building because like left-leaning people like hardcore jumped all over that horse dewormer shit. If I'm being ultra charitable to left-leaning people or to CNN or whatever, now there were people that were actually going to stores and buying like the livestock dewormer versions, which is bad, but the only reason why I didn't say it was just completely wrong is because at the very least they had an expert lady come in at the end and she said like ivermectin is an anti-parasitic drug that's been given to humans, blah, blah, blah. At the very least, that was the case. Okay, so what I was gonna say at the end of this is they haven't even said yet that ivermectin is used in humans. We've got 3.5 minutes into this CNN segment. I didn't even know that ivermectin was a human drug. This whole time it sounds like something exclusively used in livestock, right? So finally we get to the point where they say like, hey, this actually is used as an anti-parasitic drug, right?
Especially because people are using doses that are totally inappropriate. I mean, ivermectin is used in humans for things like parasites and scabies, but those are at low doses. When people are taking them in the very high doses as given for livestock, for horses, for example, then they could get nausea, vomiting, diarrhea.
Okay, so her section in its entirety, on its own, I think is okay because she seems to mention that. But coming off the two of these people, I think that we need to clarify immediately that this isn't just like a livestock medication.
Severe skin rash, extremely low blood pressure, and permanent liver damage. You could also die from overdoses of ivermectin. And I hope that people realize this and heed the advice of public health experts rather than Joe Rogan.
Dr. Lena Wan, Brian Salter.
Yeah, okay. When people ask like, is misinformation like a big deal? I'm just saying like if you come to this and you already know a little bit about what's being said, and you're getting this like, oh, this horse dewormer that no way to ever treat or blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, this isn't really that true, right? Like, it feels like we're being, yeah. Let's go all the way back to this. So Joe Rogan does have a point here that CNN's like categorization of it as a horse dewormer is pretty dumb. What a dog shit video or segment that CNN ran on that.
So for you, Joe Rogan.
Yes.
I would say you've had it.
Yes.
So now get one shot of the vaccine.
No.
Why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated.
Okay, you get both. You can get even better, right? Like, but whatever. Okay, I'll just listen to this.
Oh,
why not?
Because I have better immunity than I would if I was vaccinated. Right?
Yes.
Don't I?
I think your immunity is really good.
So why, if I've already gotten through COVID and I was really only sick for a day, and then 5 days later I was negative, and I do have the natural antibodies.
Is that even true? My understanding is that right now that it's thought to be true, that natural immunity is probably better, but they're still researching it because your natural immunity might be falling off or waning faster than the vaccines. But I think all of this is still like up in the air right now. I don't think we know 100%. Theoretically, natural immunity should be better because you're identifying more segments, more unique proteins. There's like 24, 25 of them or whatever in the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Than the vaccines. But I think that when they've been studying people with that have been infected, that have the natural immunity, that there is a concern right now that natural immunity wanes much faster than the vaccine immunity. I don't know why that would be the case, but it's all still being researched, so it's hard to tell. We just don't have good answers to that yet.
Now, why would I take a chance in getting vaccinated on top of that?
By the way, I'm glad you're better. I'm glad it only lasted a day.
You're probably the only one at CNN that's glad.
No. We're not.
The rest of them are all lying about me taking horse medication. And we should talk about that.
That bothered you.
It should bother you, too. They're lying at your network about people taking human drugs versus drugs for veterinary.
Calling it a horse dewormer is not a flattering thing. I get that.
It's a lie. It's a lie on a news network. And it's a lie that's a willing... That's a lie that they're conscious of. This is not a mistake.
Yeah.
They're unfavorably framing it as veterinary medicine.
Well, the FDA put this thing out. You saw that. Did you see that thing that the FDA put out?
What did the FDA put out?
It was a tweet, and it was snarky.
Yo.
I admit it. They said you were.
Sanjay Gupta was totally unprepared for this. Am I pronouncing his name right? He shouldn't be unprepared. This is like CNN's chief medical fucking correspondent or whatever, isn't it? Like, yeah, he should have been ready for this. Obviously, Rogan was going to bring it up, and CNN fucked up hard here when they did it. They did.
You are not a horse. You are not a cow. Stop taking this stuff or something like that.
Why would you say that when you're talking about a drug that's been given out to billions and billions of people?
It's pronounced
a drug
Sanjay?
that was responsible for one of the inventors of it making
Nobel
winning
Prize.
the Nobel Prize in 2015.
15, yeah.
Yeah,
No,
a drug that has been shown to stop viral replication in vitro. You know that, right? Why would they lie and say that's horse dewormer? I can afford people medicine, motherfucker. This is ridiculous. It's just a lie.
I don't think anyone is.
But don't you think that a lie like that is dangerous on a news network when you know that they know they're lying? You know that they know that I took medicine. Like, here it is. This is ivermectin.
You got
This
it
is
with
right
you.
here. Somebody gave it to me.
All right, hang on. The thing is, we're like going so fast. Like I feel like I'm missing.
Do you think that's a problem that your news network
was not-
lies?
Well, I don't.
You
I
can
don't-
tell this is like asking the WHO, like, so what do you think about Taiwan as being a country? And he's like, hello? I think it's cutting out.
WHO considered Taiwan's membership. Hello? With the
I'm sorry, I can't hear. I couldn't hear your question.
okay, yeah. Let me repeat the question.
No, that's okay. Let's move to another one then.
I mean, like, you have to be able to address this, right? It looks bad, but
Dude.
What did they say?
They lied
What did
and
they
said
say?
I was taking horse dewormer. First of all, it was prescribed to me by a doctor.
Yeah.
Along
They
with
shouldn't have said
a
it was
bunch
horse.
of other
it was-
medications.
if you got a human pill, because there were people that were taking it, the veterinary medication, and you're not, obviously. You got it from a doctor, so that it shouldn't be called that. Ivermectin can be a very effective medication for parasitic disease, and as you say, it's probably, I think what, 250 million people have taken it around the world.
more,
I get that.
Way more.
So,
way
but
more. Billions of people have taken it.
Can I just come back to the one I want to talk about? Two things on
You
the
have
ledger.
to- you have, before we get to that, does it bother you that the news network you work for out and out lied, just outright lied about me taking horse dewormer?
They shouldn't have said that.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
You didn't ask? You didn't think that was you're the medical guy over there.
I didn't ask. I should have asked before
But they
coming
did
on
it
your
with
podcast.
such glee.
No,
Yes,
Joe.
they did. I watched.
You watched?
I watched.
You watched? No, I don't think there's
Yes,
glee.
they did.
I don't. No one takes.
Joe Rogan says he has
She's taking-
COVID, taking livestock drug despite warnings. Yeah.
Jamie had to pull this up.
You want
huh?
to play it?
Does she
This
have
is your
glee?
news network.
I'm gonna watch.
Let's see.
I'm gonna watch.
Rogan telling his 13 million Instagram followers that he was treated with several drugs, and he included ivermectin on the list, a drug used for livestock that the FDA and the CDC warn against using to treat COVID.
do you think there's any
Turns
way
out-
for Gupta to handle the situation? Yeah, you have to just say, like, yeah, they fucked up. It was, like, really shitty of them to do that. They should have never broadcasted that segment. It was incredibly irresponsible to do it. It was so stupid. Like, it's indefensible. You can't. There's no way to spin it. There's no way to spin it. It was just really, really bad. There was another thread that went up on my subreddit, because every time I bring this up, there's always people that get, like, really ass mad when I say it. But, like, this is why I say, like, misinformation is really bad on the left and the right. And I think equally bad, because once you start once you descend into the world of misinformation, it's all the same shit. It doesn't matter if it comes from the left or the right. Once you've entered that world, everything is fucked. And, like, I mean, this is enough right here for, like, 1 million Lauren Southerns to be like, well, this is why I don't trust the mainstream media. Now I get all of my news from Joe Rogan. It's like, okay, well, because in this case, Joe Rogan was 1 million times more correct. And Joe Rogan is like, who is he? Joe Rogan is like what do we make fun of him as? Like, he's like a meathead, ape-loving, DMT worshipping, pot-smoking loser. And then here you've got, like, the CNN, like, chief medical correspondent, and he won't admit that, like, yeah, CNN fucking lied about calling it a horse dewormer. They shouldn't have said that, right? Like, it looks so bad. It looks so bad. And you're, like, it sucks. It sucks.
I got COVID. Look, they put a yellow filter on me too.
The kitchen sink at it. All kinds of meds. Monoclonal,
you see the original video versus that? I look like shit there.
Z-Pack,
do you know that?
I think you look good.
Pause. It's enough.
Prednisone.
That's enough, Jamie.
I don't think Aaron had Glee.
Oh well, it's more Brian Stelter was the gleeful one. But the point is, that's a lie.
It can be used for humans. I get it. I totally.
Not just could be used for humans, is often used for humans, along with all the other drugs I took, all human drugs.
Yes,
they know it's a human drug.
It's right, but
they lied.
The thing,
it's defamatory.
It is. Yeah, they shouldn't have done that.
It's defamatory, right?
Well, I don't know if it's defamatory.
I bet it is.
Well,
probably.
I'm not a lawyer.
I don't know.
I'm not a lawyer.
It's a lie.
Well,
am I wrong? Didn't Sanjay say they shouldn't have called it a horse dewormer? Yeah, but it's more than just saying like, yeah, well, they shouldn't have said that. It was like it was a big fuck up. It was really bad. It's not just them saying that like, oh yeah, you know, like they misspoke, lol. It was like a flat out like as close to misinformation as you can get, if not that.
See, here's the thing. You can have nuanced discussions about this.
No,
right?
you can't.
Yeah, you
can't have nuanced discussions about lying about someone taking horse dewormer.
There was no glee, by the way, from her. She
wow,
was. I don't
didn't watch her.
anyone takes people's illness.
Yes, they do.
They don't want you to get sick, Joe.
Yes, they do.
They
were
want you to get
upset
sick.
that I got healthy. That's one thing they didn't report on. The fact that I was negative 5 days later. And working out 6 days later.
Well,
6 days after infection, I was back in the gym.
I'm glad.
Felt great.
I'm glad you do. I really am.
Me too.
I think
Thank you.
Most of the people.
I'm glad you're glad. You're a nice guy.
Most of the people I know, I think, would be glad that you. I don't think that there was any.
There's a lot of people out there that weren't glad. But my point is, you're working for a news organization. If they're lying about a comedian taking horse medication, what are they telling us about Russia? What are they telling us about Syria? Do you understand that that's why people get concerned about the veracity of the news?
This is true, actually. As sad as this is, it's 100% true. It's 1,000,000% true. When you hear one or two lies from somebody, you're liable not to trust them for anything.
Concern was look, just the nuanced part of this, and you're not taking a horse dewormer. I get it. You got that as a
Destiny. Would you blast your employer on TV? You guys are too fixated on this guy, on the Sanjay Gupta guy. I don't care about him. That's not the big problem. Like, I don't know if he could have said anything here. The problem is that CNN lied about it in the first place. That's the big problem. Do you understand? Like, I don't know what more this guy could have done at this point, but
legitimate medication from a pharmacy.
Somebody
whatever.
gave me. That's kind of a joke, my friend Megan.
What does Vosh say this about ivermectin? Oh boy, is this going to be stupid?
FDA put this.
Well, that is what people are getting. They are literally getting ivermectin from like pet care stores because their doctors aren't recommending it to them. So they're going to these pet care stores and literally getting horse dewormer. By the way, I don't give a fuck about this. This is not dishonest, okay? Ivermectin is a horse dewormer. If you buy it, even if you get it from a doctor, it remains a horse dewormer. It is not anti-COVID medication. It's not. It is a horse dewormer. If they want to make fun of you by saying you're taking